when I was finished, he said I passed. He turned off the camera, and we proceeded to have sex in the office.
And tonight, Eyewitness News investigates with continuing coverage of controversy at Charleston City Hall and inside the police department. Two accusers say they have now lodged formal complaints against former police chief James Tyke alleging misconduct, including improper sexual interactions and tampering with official evidence.
Now, we've been tracking this story for nearly a year and told you last month about the situation involving Hunt and a Marmette woman. She alleged a flirtatious texting relationship turned sexual, ultimately resulting in an after-hours encounter in Hunt's City Hall office.
Now, a second woman has come forward with a similar story. Both accusers say they filed complaints alleging Hunt committed criminal acts, one with West Virginia State Police, which the agency has confirmed, and the other with the Charleston Police Department, with CPD telling us it's been handed off to the Professional Standards Division. Eyewitness News lead investigative reporter Kenny Bass joins us live in the studio with our latest report. Kenny.
Well, Dave, Gina, a little more than a month after we told you about former Chief Tyke Hunt's sexting relationship with Jenny Harless, during which he allegedly disrobed and pulled her on top of him at City Hall, another woman has come forward alleging similar conduct by Hunt spanning several years. But unlike Harless, this time the accuser used to wear a badge. I talked with Chelsea McCoy last week before Tyke Hunt stepped down from the chief's office. This is her story, but we'd like to warn you that this report contains mature themes which may not be appropriate for younger viewers.
Back in 2015, Chelsea McCoy joined the West Virginia National Guard when she was 18 years old. But she also wanted to serve and protect her community. So starting in 2017 and culminating a year later, McCoy started working on joining the Charleston Police Department.
I wanted to make a difference. I grew up really rough, and I wanted to be different than everyone else that I saw growing up. So I lived in Charleston when I was a teenager, and I was like, this is my city, I want to protect the city, and I was already in uniform through the military, so it just made sense.
But McCoy was worried her checkered past might block her from joining the department's ranks. Her mother was addicted to drugs, and McCoy was exposed to them at an early age. She experimented, but did not get hooked. However, a question on a polygraph exam required for Charleston Police Department applicants stood in her way of fulfilling her dream.
What exactly were you nervous about the polygraph?
There was a lot of dabbling in drugs when I was younger.
When you were a teenager?
Yes.
Okay.
I grew up around drugs, and I tried some. I was curious.
Mm-hmm. So why was that concerning about the polygraph?
There were some things that I didn't want to say that made me nervous that I wasn't going to become a police officer.
In 2018, when McCoy was applying to join the department, James Tyke Hunt was a sergeant and a polygraph examiner. She says Hunt started a texting relationship with her about a month before the test.
How did Tyke Hunt get involved in it?
So he was the polygraph examiner. He was a sergeant at the time, and he didn't even have my case. It wasn't his, but he took my case from someone else, and he started to call me, and he wanted to pretty much know my whole life story. So I told him, and it was like a month of him calling me, and he texted me, and I began to trust him. He was like the white knight, so he groomed me.
How did he make you feel comfortable? What was he telling you in these texting calls?
He was like, "Oh, you'll pass the polygraph." Every time I told him, I was like, "I'm not going to pass the polygraph. Like I don't see it happening, but I really want to be a police officer." And he's like, "Oh, I'm doing your polygraph exam. You'll be fine." I'm like, okay. I didn't have a father figure growing up. I didn't have that. So he kind of just took me under his wing, and I felt safe.
McCoy says she felt close to Hunt, and with his support, along with the fact he took over her polygraph exam from another officer, McCoy went to City Hall for the test.
So what happens when you get there and you start to go in the polygraph room?
So at first I try to kiss him, and he says you have to wait till after the polygraph.
Why did you try to kiss him?
Because we talked sexually through text, through phone conversations.
So this was something that had been building?
Yes. During the polygraph, like whenever it starts, there is a camera. But once the polygraph is done, then it's shut off. Mm-hmm. So after the polygraph, he's like, "Oh, you passed.
Did you lie on the polygraph?
Yes.
What did you lie about?
About my drug usage.
Do you think the polygraph caught that?
Absolutely.
So how did you pass?
He must have tweaked it to where I passed it. When I was finished, he said I passed. He turned off the camera, and we proceeded to have sex in the office.
You had sex with Sergeant Hunt at the time in
Yes.
2018 in the polygraph room, on the polygraph machine table?
No, there was a couch. There was a couch in there.
Okay.
So we had sex on the couch.
And who initiated that?
It was mutual.
Okay.
It was mutual. We had an understanding that he's going to pass me on the polygraph for us to have sex.
Now, was that explicitly said, or did you have sex with him because you liked him and you were grateful, or was it both?
It was both, with the sexual comments that he made to me, with him sending me pictures. It's an obvious understanding, without him just coming out, hey, like if you do this, I'll do that. Like, it was an understanding.
So he never explicitly said in anything, we're going to do this, but it was pretty clear what was going to happen.
It was pretty clear, yeah. You can understand something without you outright saying, the deal.
After their alleged sexual encounter, McCoy began her career as a probationary officer. It didn't last long. In January 2019, McCoy got into a fight with another woman at a gathering at her home. McCoy told police she was acting in self-defense. She was charged with battery and resigned from the Charleston PD. McCoy says when the other woman failed to appear in court, the charge was dropped and she reapplied to the department.
Whenever I talked to the polygraph examiner, which was McMasters, he said that he wasn't going to polygraph me on anything before Tyke Hunt.
Why?
Because he trusted Tyke, is what he said.
Did he mention any communication with the chief about that?
No, he just said that he trusted Tyke Hunt's process and that he was just going to take it from there.
So nothing from the polygraph from your life before the polygraph with Tyke Hunt?
Nope.
So the drug questions didn't come up?
No.
You weren't as nervous?
No.
How'd you do?
I passed it.
And shortly thereafter, she and now Chief of Police Tyke Hunt started texting each other once again. McCoy says one thing led to another.
It became friendly again, and he started making comments about my body. I lost weight, and he made a lot of comments about, I don't know if I like you better like this or how you were, and I still trusted him, and he did me another favor with the new polygraph, so I was still loyal to him and indebted to him.
What was the result of all that?
We ended up having sex again.
You had sex with Chief Hunt?
Yes,
again.
Chief.
Now he's Chief
Hunt.
Hunt, you had sex with him?
Yes.
Where did that happen?
In his office.
At City Hall?
Yes. He asked me to come up, and I was like, okay, I'll come up, and it just went from there.
Following what she said was a sexual encounter in Hunt's City Hall office, McCoy continued serving as a patrol officer. She says texts and messaging with Hunt slowed down. In 2021, McCoy was activated for COVID duty with the National Guard. She said during that time, she was embroiled in a custody battle with the father of her child. She started an OnlyFans page to make additional money, not identifying herself and working alone.
There was no policy about having an OnlyFans. I'm not with Charleston PD at that time. I am employed by the government, not Charleston PD. There was no policy against it.
However, she posted about the page on her personal Facebook account, drawing attention from the Charleston PD. Sergeant Richie Bassford, who is now Chief of Detectives, texted McCoy asking to meet with her privately.
We met at the Planet Fitness parking lot, and I get into his vehicle. He tells me that it's in my best interest to resign. I didn't want to resign. I wanted to fight the OnlyFans thing. I would have deleted the OnlyFans. I was ready to get back on the force.
Well, what was his reasoning? Why should you resign?
He said that I could go to another department, and that it wasn't going to go well for me at Charleston PD.
Following Bassford's advice, McCoy resigned from the Charleston Police Department in March of last year. Still serving with the Guard and now pursuing a nursing career, McCoy said she had put Tyke Hunt behind her. until she was contacted about Jenny Harless's interactions with the chief.
I don't know how they even heard about my story. I didn't tell anyone about Tyke. I did not tell a soul. So whoever knew must have done some digging, because I didn't tell anyone. But Jenny Harless, I heard her story, and I was like, this is unacceptable. We have to stand together. We have to support ourselves and be women supporting women.
What about Jenny Harless' story made you
It
decide
made
you had to
me.
participate?
It made me think of my story, and if I have a story and she has a story, then how many other stories are out there? What else is he doing? What is he hiding? What else is he hiding?
Some of Harless's allegations are very similar to McCoy's alleged experiences. Supportive and flirtatious texts, which soon became sexual in nature, including the exchange of explicit photographs. And both women say they had encounters with Hunt in his City Hall office, Harless turning down his sexual overtures, but McCoy agreeing. However, Harless had proof of her relationship with Hunt: texts, messages, and pictures. McCoy does not.
Every time he saw me, he would have me delete them in front of him. Like I had to show him my phone and delete it in front of him.
So the texts and the pictures and anything of a sexual nature, most of the conversations, you have no evidence.
I don't have any
At his
evidence.
request.
Yes.
The former Charleston police officer says she once thought of Hunt as a mentor, supporter, and ally. But now she says she knows differently.
He's targeting women. He's abusing his power, and it's not right. Men are supposed to be especially when you wear a badge. You're supposed to be the protector. You're supposed to do what's right, and he's not doing that. He's not protecting. He's not doing what's right. He should have never gave me the option to pass the polygraph to begin with. It should have never been an option. You're supposed to be unbiased when you're hiring police officers. You're supposed to be unbiased, do your investigation. It shouldn't be a personal thing.
And then what happened afterwards should not have happened,
Absolutely not.
even though you wanted it to.
Yeah, but it should have never happened. He was the man in charge, and he took advantage of that. He took advantage of me.
What would you like to see happen in this situation?
I don't want Tyke to be chief anymore. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't embody what a police officer is. He shouldn't be chief.
And of course, James Tyke Hunt is no longer the chief of police in Charleston. Eyewitness News asked Charleston Mayor Amy Goodwin for an interview about the formal complaints now lodged against the former chief. We didn't get a response. Reporting in the studio with this Eyewitness News investigation, I'm Kenny Bass.
Thanks for watching, and here's another video from Eyewitness News. Click right here to subscribe to our channel, and remember to hit the bell notification for the latest.